Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jump Up Supercast, the only podcast on the internet willing to stake right now.
Now?
Sushi Striker Way of Sushido will be the best-selling game of this generation.
Whoa!
Joining me today, Muzamil.
I believe Sushi Striker to sell at least 40 million units.
Brandon.
I can't wait till we get paid like $2 million and we can record the podcast in Saudi Arabia. It would be called The Greatest Jump Up Supercast.
And Saf.
Whoa, that many sales?
That was disgusting.
That man.
I'm upset.
I don't like that man.
I'm just...
I don't like that
You
man.
ruined my mood. I don't think I can...
Bye.
Bye.
Shall we start over again?
Podcast.
Guess we gotta start over.
Muz's mood is ruined. How are the other two of you doing?
I'm doing real good, man.
I'm feeling happy as Brandon eats something.
I was really high on the great Nintendo news and Saf just fucking killed it. I'm done.
Saf ruined it.
So mad.
Now, sometimes we do a little bit of a preamble. This week, there's news. We gotta get to it, boys.
Let's do it.
Do it to it. Let's do it to it.
So,
excited.
first and foremost, this is a special week of the year, special time of the year. It is when the big three, all in the span of 3 days, tell us how they actually did for the year prior.
Damn.
So they did their financial reports, their fiscal earnings were from Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo were all out. I guess we'll get to what is the one that probably has the least interesting to talk about with it, which is Sony.
Shit.
Because Sony doesn't release a ton of information, but we do have a couple of pieces of stuff. Last year they projected to sell 17 million units of the PlayStation 4. They surpassed that and got 18 million.
Good job,
Good for
Sony.
them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Good for them. And as well, they but this year are projecting that they will see a drop in sales. 16 million is their projection. But they plan to make it up by having more software be sold on the systems that are out there. And for those of you who know what that means, this is basically the signal of when a company is entering the late stage of a console's lifespan, right?
Yeah.
It's when you sort
the
of
harvest year.
It's the harvest year. You've got all these consoles out there. They're now sitting at just under 80 million, and they have Spider-Man and God of War to give to people, but they don't plan on selling PS4s to people because of God of War. I'm sure it'll do fine, but so that's interesting. And Sony on the whole is projecting a little down because of the yen and a bunch of things outside of the PlayStation. But we'll see. I mean, I think that basically confirms that Sony has got that PS5 on their mind.
Yeah, I mean, so this was 1 million down from the previous year.
Yes.
So, which is, I mean, incredible performance. Don't get me wrong, but
Yes.
so the PS4's peak though. We're reaching that saturation point. You know, a lot of fucking.
Yeah, it's harder to get from 90 to 100 million than it is to get from 50 to 70. You know,
A lot of people on PS4s. You know, so yeah.
which is a good thing. Microsoft did not give as many hard numbers as Sony did, but we did see an interesting thing on their... The problem with Sony and Microsoft is that because they're much bigger corporations than just their video games division, they don't spend as much time as like Nintendo will spend on specific games and such. But they did say that personal entertainment and personal computing and the Xbox brand will be a place where they want to invest more money and see growth over the next 5 years. So this is basically directly in contradiction to a lot of the panic that happened, especially early on this gen, when the Xbox were saying, oh no, will they just get out of the console market? Will there be an Xbox after this? And the answer appears to be, yeah, there will be.
Yay.
And that's good.
Yeah, and
I think
they're investing hard into it. Actually, they're more than they have before, so that's very interesting to see. They're straight up telling their investors, "Hey, we're gonna be spending money on Xbox." So, just a heads up, you know.
Yeah.
Be prepared. It may not pay off now, but it'll pay off later.
I actually just was thinking about this yesterday, and I mentioned it to our other friend, Kevin, that I feel like a lot Xboxes or Microsoft in general, they're doing a lot of really cool things that I think are just weirdly getting like underappreciated in this gen of consoles.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
Yes.
Right, like the backwards
like
compatibility
you
alone.
don't hear anybody talking about it, but it's so fucking cool.
They should be commended for their backwards compatibility stuff. Like it's incredible, you know. And then even stuff like Game Pass and like they're doing cool things. I'm interested to see where
They're doing.
how this goes.
I
you
would
know?
I would phrase it as they're putting themselves in a position to succeed in the future, right?
Yeah.
That like they're on the console end, on the hardware side of it. They're getting into a good spot, and they're clearly going to invest more time in studios and in games. And so, you know, when those games do eventually come, they will be able to blast off, right? Because everything else is now working as
I mean,
well.
I almost wonder if it's like, I mean, obviously, so they're doing a lot of stuff to kind of set the groundwork for the next console. It's pretty clear, like, right? Like, Game Pass is not something just for Xbox One, right? Backwards compatibility is not just something for Xbox One, right?
Right.
But, like, on the game side, I almost wonder if it's like a, you know, circa 2015, 2016 Wii U kind of deal, right? Where you could tell their output was decreasing, you know? But obviously...
They were clearly holding off for the
Yeah,
next
they-
thing to
yeah.
have the next one thing be strong.
Right.
paid off in dividends for the next console.
Do you think with Microsoft, the way they've been pushing backwards compatibility, that at this point they're never going to look back? Like, it's never going to be, there's never going to be a cutoff ever again.
There's no
They'll
reason to
always
cut it
have
off,
now.
right? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so.
Right,
'cause
if they've already
I think
done
that's
it,
exciting.
yeah.
they've
it's super
invested so
exciting.
much in backwards compatibility, and that's a good. It's such a good thing, right? Like, I don't want to lose
Yeah,
my games when I
It blows my mind that I could put in an OG Xbox game in my Xbox One X and play it and have it look better than it ever did. Which just blows my fucking mind.
It's
So,
incredible.
And I think because what's his name? The guy who heads up PlayStation of Europe, Sony of Europe. What's his
Jim
name?
Ryan.
Jim Ryan last year at E3 famously was like, "We look at the numbers for backwards compatibility. No one uses it. We don't care. Just shut up," basically, right? But I think that backwards compatibility, even if that's true, even if there's not a huge amount of people that have backwards compatibility, I think it alters the way that you perceive the console you're buying.
Yes.
Like it does. Like just the option to play those games is sometimes worth the effort of making it available. You know?
I mean, like, the library of your console just grows a shit ton because of that, right?
Yeah.
But I
right,
think
and
Xbox
it's
is
like kind of like you could just replace your old one and get rid of it.
yeah.
Completely, because you won't need it anymore, and that's very like that's very enticing for a lot of people because they want to save space. They want to maybe even save money by trading their old one in, knowing that they can just play all their old stuff on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think with Xbox, well, what's interesting with Xbox One, right? Jim Ryan says, "Oh, well, no one wants to play these old ass shitty games, right?" Which, first of all, that's such an annoying quote. But also, Microsoft is making it so, hey, we get it. Old games are a little hard to go back to. They look prettier. They run better. You know?
Yeah.
So actually, this is solving that issue, right? This is, well, if you think that's the reason why people aren't playing backwards compatible games, well, now you have a reason. Like, people want to go back to Red Dead now. I've seen a huge buzz for that, you know? And I think that's, I think Microsoft has kind of quote unquote solved this issue that Sony seems to have, you know, with backwards compatibility.
And I think that like that helps the mind share for when Red Dead 2 comes out, you know?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Because, I mean, you're associating Red Dead with
it-
Xbox right now, right? Like, it's like, oh my god, like, I want to play
Yeah.
Red Dead on my Xbox. Well, you're going to play Red Dead. You might end up playing Red Dead 2 on your Xbox, you know?
I know I will.
Yeah. But so that's Microsoft stuff. So that's interesting. We'll see what they do in the future. This is one of those future news things, but it's a good sign.
Yeah.
Now Nintendo, they just gave us a lot. There's a lot to unpack with Nintendo, so get ready.
It's like my favorite time of year, I gotta say. It's just...
Where do we begin?
I love it.
I mean, even we should get away. The biggest thing they announced was that they are dead and the company is over.
Well, that was
yes.
quickly.
Of course.
Yeah. No. I mean, the biggest thing they exceeded their estimates that they had already exceeded before. They said they were, help me with this, Ms. Milne. They said they originally projected 10 million units sold for the Nintendo Switch in this year. Mm-hmm. They upgraded it to 14, then to 16.
No, they upgraded then to, it was I don't remember the middle one, but then it was to 15. And then
was a 15.
Yeah, and then they barely hit over that 15, which is good. But yeah, so I mean, they increased their projections by 50%, you know, and still passed it. That's
Yes.
fantastic.
So they have they're 17 million.
Yeah,
17.8
sorry,
million
that's for this
units.
fiscal year, so that doesn't count launch month. But yeah, so total they are at 17.8
Yes.
million. Yes.
Yes. So they did it. They did what they thought they would do. They also announced that their games did well, that like Kirby has the biggest launch ever for a Kirby game. It's at 1.26 million. Xenoblade Chronicles and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild are the best selling in their series ever. Mario's over 10 million. Just a lot. Just a whole lot, you know? Mario Kart 8
Everything is
Deluxe.
doing well on Switch. Oh yeah, Mario Kart 8. Go.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe outsold the original Mario Kart 8 and
That's
is
crazy.
going to be the highest selling game on Switch probably by the end of the year. Like, ARMS somehow sped up and reached 1.85 million, which is nuts.
It did better this quarter, January to March, than it did in the holiday quarter. Which,
Yes.
you know?
It's that, and that's the other thing too, is that there was almost no drop off in software sales from the holiday quarter to this quarter, which is a quarter that people had a lot of concerns about because they had concerns about droughts.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of numbers, but what does it mean? Because I think that like we can talk about this stuff and be like, look how big the numbers are. But I have 4 points and 4 games that sort of illustrate, I think, in my mind, the things that we can learn for Nintendo and for the Switch and for the people that play the Switch going forward. First, like I mentioned, every franchise is raised by the tides of the Nintendo Switch, right? Yeah. Kirby, like we just said, has the biggest debut ever. Bayonetta is just over 400K. It's already done what Wii U did. And so every single, like, this is a sign for games that, like, are not traditionally huge sellers or doing better than they expect. What will happen when we get to the generally big sellers, such as Pokemon, such as Animal Crossing? Those will be smashed.
Imagine I shudder to think the units that Pokemon is gonna
It's going to do. I mean, like you talk about Bayonetta, right? Doing better than it did on Wii U and doing pretty strongly. That game got zero marketing. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
There was some in-store posters, but that was it. You know, you go into a GameStop and you see like posters of Bayonetta 2. That's the extent of the marketing for Bayonetta 2. You know?
Yeah.
And for it to already surpass the Wii version,
and so like
that's insane.
Yeah. And so it'll be interesting to see
the
like
the Wii U wasn't that great. Like, it was the worst selling Nintendo console.
I sure, but I don't think you're giving enough credit for how insane these sales are. I mean, these are record breaking.
Kirby as a series has been around forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just turned 26.
Breaking numbers.
Yeah. And like Zelda, like let's go back to Zelda real quick. Like it's become the best selling game in this series in a year. It's not even going to stop selling. You know, it's going to keep selling.
No, it's not.
It's already broken that record within a year.
Who's going to go buy it today? I shit you not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's the first Zelda game that collectively with the Wii U version has passed 10 million units. The second thing is that the evergreen approach, the evergreen title approach to the releases that Nintendo's talked about before, essentially, right? That when they release a game like Mario Kart, they want it to continue to sell for years, basically until the next entry comes out. That didn't happen on the Wii U. Things would show up and they would drop immediately. But this is back. If we look at both Mario, at Mario Kart, and at Zelda, those 3 games have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has now consistently placed itself in the top 10 of the NPD charts pretty consistently since launch.
It hasn't left the top 10.
It has not left. It is now in that Grand Theft Auto space, right? Where very quietly it just picks up incredible numbers, but it's never the number 1 for the month, so people don't think about it. But games like Mario Kart are now doing that again, where they did not, even on the 3DS, they didn't do that.
Yeah.
In addition to the Wii U. So that's an exciting one to come back. And that those evergreen things is also what carried Zelda, like we just said, to big numbers. The third thing is that there's just the attach rate has gotten higher since it has launched. It got higher since the holiday season. That means that more people, attach rate, for a term that people don't know, it is how many people on average that own the system own this number of games, right? So normally it can range around. But a game that I think really like illustrates that just like people want to play games on the Switch, and also is secretly the weirdest news from all of this, is Fire Emblem Warriors passed 1 million units sold.
I spent an hour just being baffled by this number, trying to disprove it, because I was like, no way in hell did this game sell 1 million units. Because who was talking about this game?
Because
you know,
Man, Hyrule Warriors is gonna be fucking moving numbers, baby.
yeah, I mean, like, because this game didn't have a lot of hype. It did not get the best reception. It came out the week before Mario Odyssey. It did not have time in the spotlight. It still made it to 1 million somehow. That is the mystery. That's like, how do they do that? You know?
Fire Emblem.
Well,
Fire Emblem.
but this is the third best-selling Fire Emblem of all time.
Like, it's better than all the Fire Emblem games.
This is before, like, you put a spin-off on the console before you even put the main line. So you would think, okay, maybe like the Fire Emblem fan base hasn't made it to the Switch yet, whatever. But no, this fucking spin-off is the third best-selling game in the franchise. So I can't even imagine what Fire Emblem Switch is going to do. You know, that's going to be nuts.
Oh, imagine if Switch does worse than Fire Emblem Warriors.
Okay, it won't. I'm
doubtful.
This is a dumb theoretical.
Come on.
Get out of here, you crazy man. The other thing, though, is that, and the last thing, they think 2018 is going to be a big year for them. So this year, like we said, they did just under 18 million units sold, and they did just under 70 million units of software. They did 69 million. Nice, by the way. This year, on the projecting for this year, they're projecting 20 million Switches sold in the fiscal year and 100 million units of software sold in this year's time frame.
You telling me they want to like almost outsell the GameCube in 1 year?
That would, if they meet these projections,
correct.
It will. That would be correct.
Yeah.
They lowballed Switch previously.
It'll just about do what GameCube did lifetime in a year. That is
in its 5 year.
In its 5 year run.
Yeah.
Which is
so.
I mean, okay, so
right now we don't know anything besides, like, we don't know a lot of. We know that Fire Emblem exists. We know that Smash exists, and we know that Yoshi exists for later in the year, right?
Yes.
But they clearly think they have a software lineup under their sleeves that will lead to this in a year.
Pokemon. Pokemon.
I mean, I think that, like, you know, if we're extrapolating numbers, they are confident that Pokemon will be out before March 31st of next year.
Yeah.
Right? It may not hit holiday, but they think it's soon.
It does seem to be that way, which is exciting. I know a lot of people are freaking out because we haven't seen it yet, but, like, chill. You know? Yeah,
we'll see, and we'll get to that later on because we have E3 things to talk about, and I think this does tie into E3 because now it's got my brain in just a whole different space, right? Because right now we don't know their lineup. The only people that know their lineup are Nintendo, you know, and this is a signal to them, like, because they traditionally do not like to overpromise, right? I mean, no business wants to.
And Nintendo, they're a very conservative company, right? They'll tell you. I mean, just last year with the Switch, right? They're like, you know, we're expecting 10 million for launch year, and then they fucking blow past that, right? Like, so
they almost double it, right?
And I know that seems crazy to people, and like I know I really genuinely think 20 million might be a conservative estimate for them. You know, like
So what you're telling me is they're about to ship 30 million this year.
No, I mean, not that much.
No.
But I'm saying,
I don't know. Like, I don't know what is, because, like, the thing is, like, we had Mario and Zelda last year, right? Like, I mean, we're gonna have Smash and Pokemon this year, but I think they need like one more. Like, to me, this says like we have one more of our bigger franchises just sitting.
Well, I mean,
Fire Emblem's gonna happen, but I mean, like, Animal Crossing. I mean, like, that type of thing.
Okay, Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, Pokemon, and Smash in the same year. You gotta be kidding me.
That would be an insane holiday lineup. I would be extremely.
Well, it might also be
that.
Q1. Well, who knows?
Sure.
But
like, I would be very happy with that. You know, like.
I
wouldn't know what to play. I'd be dying.
I'd have to
take like a fucking month off of work.
So also we have. At the same time they released all this, they also did a lot of big corporate change-ups in the company. So Moose, you're better at these names. Just go over all of them, and then we'll talk about why they may matter.
Okay, so Mr. Shuntaro Furukawa is going to be the new president of Nintendo. Tatsumi Kimishima is retiring. He's 68 years old. Are you just going to go through their names, or also what they used to do?
Dude, tell like where they were and where they're going now.
All
basically, right?
So Furukawa, he was the director. He was in charge of global marketing. Number one, right? This is ever since the Switch. Important note: late 2016 is when he got that job, and so yeah.
And that's when the ads got good.
That's when the ads got good. Yes, that's an important note.
We want to make a note because the Wii U ads were very, very bad, and the Switch ads were good. So good job, dude.
Literally the month before the Switch reveal happened, that's when he got like the YouTube video. That's when he was in charge of the global marketing department. He was GM of corporate planning, like hey, this is what we're gonna do for the year, blah blah. He was director. From the Nintendo side, he was the representative for Nintendo at the Pokemon Company. And he just did corporate analysis and administration. So yeah, he was a big guy, business, mostly on the business side, but yeah.
Now I want to stop here though, because he's the biggest thing. He's the new president, right? And people were freaking out. The previous president was Kimishima, and people said, why is he gone so soon? These people, I guess, didn't pay attention because they always said he was an interim. He was not going to be the permanent.
Yeah,
man.
The thing is, Kimishima, when he signed on, was 65 years old. That's already retirement age. Yes. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, he was ready to go home.
Yeah. And like you look at it was like unfortunate circumstances, and so it was like after the passing of Iwata, it was like we need a kind of guiding, steady hand, someone who's just gonna we have a plan, just execute it to the best we can, not do anything crazy, like just execute this plan.
We have the Switch. The Switch is coming out. Yeah. Help us make sure the Switch comes out. And and Kimishima said that the Switch doing better than they thought made him feel like this was the moment to transition.
Yeah, this is the perfect time, right? Because they've gone through the transition. They're successful. This is the best time to hand it over, right? Like, there's no better time to leave, He's done his job. He's good to go.
But also, worth mentioning, Furukawa also did a stint in Germany. So, like, he's been in multiple markets, which is good. Kimishima had that same thing where Kimishima had a more of an American perspective because he spent more time in it with America. He's also super young.
Yes, 46.
He's 46 years old. Is young for a U.S. company, even crazier for a Japanese company.
There's no one under the age of 120 who gets a CEO job in Japan.
This is true. If you are not in a sarcophagus, you're not getting a CEO job prior to this man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Iwata was also, like, he was 42, but,
He was a miracle.
Yeah, and so, and I just want to talk about a few like, personal traits of him. He said that, Kimishima said that one of his best traits is that he's good at building a consensus among all employees rather than just relying on a few geniuses, was Kimishima's words.
He basically spit on Miyamoto. I'm just kidding.
He spit on Miyamoto's grave.
Oh, my God. I mean, he could spin on Sticker Star. Well,
drama alert.
No. It's
no. I mean, that's what it was. It was 100% that. There's nothing else that it could possibly.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Now he is not. He's not developed games, so he doesn't have that Iwata thing going on. But they did talk about how, or reports about him said like he does love video games. Like he is the first Nintendo president to have played Nintendo games growing up, and the thing that I love. His favorite, most recent game is Golf Story, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a indie title on the Nintendo Switch that is very good. I like it a whole lot, and so it makes me happy that this guy likes it.
Oh, I can't imagine how the people at Sidebar Games feel right now. Like the incoming president of Nintendo was like, "Yeah, I love this game." That must feel amazing. Yeah, and cool apparently a lot of journalists, like for Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg, were like, when we do interviews, like when we're off the record, we're just kind of like talking about games. Like this dude's just really into video games, which I thought was cool. He said he grew up on the Famicom, which is interesting.
Yeah. which is a weird thing. Just a big, we don't know how this will go, but I think this is a good, unique choice, and I think that This guy, I mean, they said that they've looked at him for years to be president or to be in a high position like this. So it wasn't like they were scrambling for people, I don't think. So we'll see how Mr. Furukawa does. We'll see. He speaks English fluently.
Yes.
So maybe we'll get to see him do some directs. Who knows? Maybe it depends how good he is in front of a camera.
I just have one request.
Uh-huh.
That he keeps the era of thickness alive.
Oh God.
He may. We'll see.
We'll see.
I don't know. He's got his own
will.
tastes.
I think he will.
We don't want to.
believe.
Whatever he's into, we don't want to yuck his yum.
I'm not yucking his yums. It's been very good for the last.
But yeah, no,
years.
but no, but it's exciting. You know, Nintendo. It's time for new leadership. You know, and it's perfect time to do it.
And
he was. It was. We knew it was coming.
And on
Anybody
paper,
who's
this
surprised by this hasn't been
dumb.
paying attention to this.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But this is exciting. You know, I'm excited to see where Nintendo goes from here.
And then also to go with this sort of new thing with him specifically, a bunch of other people got moved around, right?
Yes. So let me go through them. I'll go through these a little bit quicker. Okay. So Satoru Shibata, you may know him as the president of NOE. Well, he used to work at NCL, and he's going back to Japan, and he's getting a huge promotion. So he's going to be my words. He's going to be on the board of directors. He's going to be a senior executive officer. Basically, the hierarchical. He's going to be the number 3 guy in the company now, which is very interesting. He's taking that GM of marketing that Furukawa had before. He's taking that position.
Yep.
And he's going to be in head of the licensing division, which is interesting because that's been a big focus for Nintendo in the last few years.
All the stuff about the Universal Studios and the movies and all that
Yeah.
stuff. That is that.
He's going, so that's a big role for him. Good for Mr. Shibata. We have Mr. This is an important one, Mr. Shinya Takahashi. He is going to be. He's keeping all his roles of. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Who the internet thought was going to be president for some reason, even though that was never going to be.
Yeah. I think people were too trying to closely be like, oh, they're just gonna do another Iwata. Like that doesn't happen, you know. That guy was a once in a lifetime kind of deal, you know.
But I'll say Iwata is a rarity, not the norm.
Yeah, exactly. So Mr. Shinya Takahashi, you may have seen him at E3 last year. He's the head of EPD, he's in charge of all of Nintendo's internal and external software. So very important guy.
He's the guy that's deciding what games.
Yeah, anything that's published by Nintendo has to be signed off by this man. So he is going to be. His new role is going to be director and senior managing executive officer, which means he is right below Furukawa. He is the number 2 man in the company now, which is a huge promotion for him. So basically what Miyamoto used to be, this is his role now. So to make it easier to follow.
Yeah.
And both Miyamoto and Kimishima are taking on advisory roles.
Yes. Well, Miyamoto's still going to have his fellow role.
Miyamoto already was, but Kimishima is now joining Miyamoto.
Yeah, Kimishima's
he's going to be there to help the transition.
Kind of in the way that Yamauchi was in an advisory role after Iwata took on for a few years. Yeah, so that's going to be that.
Yeah.
So
And then
they'll be there, but they'll just be hanging further back. Yeah.
Finally, we have 2 names that you should recognize. Mr. Yoshiaki Koizumi, face of Nintendo Direct lately. The creative brain behind Nintendo Switch, you know?
Yeah.
He is going to be on the board of directors. He's an executive officer now, along with Mr. Takashi Tezuka, who has been working on Mario all his life. Obviously, he's done a lot of other things, but, you know, you probably know him for Mario, so... Yes. These guys they're going to be on the board of directors. These creative men, they're very big promotions for them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah. And so I mean just a lot of this is because people will say does this matter? Will we see it in the games? And I think the answer is we will, because the corporate culture is a thing that goes from the head down. Yeah. Right? We see that with Yamauchi versus Iwata versus, Kimishima was a continuation of Iwata, but there is a different tone that comes with a person that is at the top and people that are making these decisions. And these are all people that recently have proven themselves to be successful. And so I think that there's reason to be excited for this stuff.
And I know people like to be concerned, are they... the biggest concern every time something happens with Nintendo is, what's gonna happen to the console division, right? Like that's always the like, are they gonna stop? You know, and it's good to rest your fears, right? Like the main people behind the software that you love are going to be the people in charge, you know. So I think that's worth noting.
Which was not always the case.
Yeah, not always the case. Yeah. So yeah, it's good to have these people on the software side, and they're not necessarily president, but they're extremely high roles in the company nonetheless. You know. So yes.
Yeah. But also in a thing that is, the console division, Furukawa said that one thing that he aims to do, and that Kimishima said he admitted that he did not succeed as much, is making the mobile division at Nintendo another pillar, basically, right? Sort of the way I would say is that because there used to be the 2-pillar approach of console and handheld, with them now being merged, they now need another one, right? Another fallback in case.
Pillar, it's back.
Well, now it's the second pillar,
we need a
right?
second pillar because the two
second pillar.
Yeah.
The 2 pillars are combining into one.
Yeah.
We have a
Switch
space
is now
open
both.
I love the pillar analogy.
No, yeah, I know.
With the fucking game.
They love it. They have never given up on
The
it.
2 pillars have done the fusion dance. That one bigger, stronger pillar.
Yes. So now you have one big pillar, and they want to have another one called mobile. And so, in a big surprise move, Nintendo has partnered with Psy Games, who have made a bunch of games. Most recently, they made a Horse Girl game, so that's exciting. But they're probably most well known for Grand Blue.
Yes.
Which is huge in Japan. If you don't know what Grand Blue is it the biggest mobile game in Japan?
No, it's not the biggest, but it is pretty big.
It's a very big game.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of money.
Oh,
like
stupid amount.
Because we don't like, because like obviously like mobile games are big in the West, they are, but like I think and they're bigger just because of population sizes. But like it's like news you were saying,
the amount of money you can make in the Asian market is
insane.
There's no ceiling.
You were saying it's Fate
Grand Order
is making more than the PlayStation division, basically, for Sony.
Correct.
So I mean, yeah, but they announced a partnership with Psy Games, who made Grand Blue, which is one of those games that is just really huge. For a game called Dragalia Lost, which is going to be published by Nintendo on mobile phones. It is not one of their previous IPs. It is a brand new IP that is going to be on mobile. It's going to be action RPG. There's a trailer for it. The gameplay looks a little the art style looks like kind of Ever Oasis-y in game. So that's exciting. But part of this partnership is that Nintendo is buying a share of the stocks for Psy Games, and Psy Games is getting 5% of Nintendo stock shares.
Which is a better deal than DNA got, actually. DNA only got to get 1% of Nintendo.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see games beyond this one, but I think that they are serious about the idea of entering the mobile space as a publisher, and it not necessarily having to do with their console or their previously existing IPs, right?
Yes.
I like that. I like that better than them taking some of their IPs that really don't need to be on mobile and kind of forcing them there.
No matter what they do with a game like Zelda, right? Zelda will feel forced on a handheld. Just like on a mobile, I mean.
Out of curiosity, what actually is happening with Dina at this moment? With
DNA.
Nintendo and DNA, yeah.
So DNA is still very important to Nintendo. So this is some misconceptions that people had. Like the partnership with that is not over. The main people who will be developing the smartphone titles with their IP will still be DNA. Well, they don't develop. They do the support stuff. You know, they do the online infrastructure, and they do the online infrastructure for My Nintendo and Switch Online and. Like, DNA is still very much integrated. It's just that the mobile, we've seen, like, mobile's doing okay, and it's doing wonders for raising the awareness of these IPs, right? Like, even though Super Mario Run didn't, like, light the charts on fire, 500 million people downloaded that game, and the Mario brand exploded in popularity since then, you know? It's back to its heights almost, you know?
Fire Emblem Warriors was helped by Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yeah, so it's we've seen it with Pokemon Go, right? So it's like it's this, but it's just the games themselves have not been extremely profitable. They're profitable, but not to the extent that you see at the top of the charts, and Nintendo wants that, right? Nintendo wants to be one of the top mobile publishers. That is their goal, you know? And so this move to partner with Cygames is, I think, a huge statement. Like, we want to be on top. So it's interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. It's supposed to be coming in summer for Japan and later releases for the West.
And NOA and NOE will bring it over to the West. So, yes.
Yeah. But that's sort of the oh, I guess one more thing. They said that they will update their website about the Nintendo Switch paid online in May.
In May, yeah.
Early May. We'll know all about the online service when the website updates. I'm sure they'll tweet it out when it happens. But yeah.
So that's sort of the stuff. Also announced at the same time, Nintendo announced their E3 plans for 2018. Gas. We already mentioned that there would be a Smash Invitational and the Splatoon 2 World Championships on a previous podcast. The format of everything else is basically the same as it's been before. So they'll have the video presentation. No longer a spotlight, just a video presentation.
Well, the name is not final. They want you to know. They're coming up with a great name for this presentation.
You will be impressed. And there will be Treehouse like there was in previous years.
3 days of Treehouse, which is...
3 days of Treehouse, baby. But,
Can't wait!
But they did say that both a spotlight game for both the... Let me get the exact verbiage, because this sentence will cause the death of us for the next 2 months.
Great.
Well, the death of Muzzy. You don't fucking say us, all right?
I mean, look,
I will be annoyed on the internet by people. No, yeah, the internet's
I'm
freaking out
fine.
at this.
I'm fine over here.
As in recent years, Nintendo will focus its E3 activities on games coming soon, with a special spotlight given to a key headlining title. The recently announced Super Smash Brothers game coming to the Nintendo Switch system this year. Games launching beyond 2018 will be featured at a later date. So that last part, the games launching beyond 2018 will be featured at a later date, has sent everyone into the frenzy, just like last year when they said we were focusing on 2017 games. Take a peek at 2017 games. Take a peek at Mario Odyssey. People were like, "We're only going to see Mario. We're only going to see 2017 games.
We're only going to see Smash Brothers. What happened to the rest of Nintendo?
What happened? Where is it?" And then when the time came around, we saw Kirby, we saw Yoshi, we saw Metroid Prime, which is, not going to be it's going to be a 2019 game probably, right? Like, so I wouldn't even listen to. I am of the mindset that there's just as good an odds of seeing 2019 games now as there was yesterday. Like I think that people get too hung up on this verbiage. They did it last year. They're going to do it again. They may not, because maybe their 2018 is more stacked, but I don't think just because they are focusing on 2018.
Okay, my only thing is, why would they say will be featured at a later date, directly implying they will not be featured at E3? It's like... don't you think it's weird? It's strange.
The beginning of the sentence of that paragraph is "as in recent years."
I mean,
implying that it is the same format as in recent years.
Okay,
which is to say a focus.
Muzzy.
Okay, maybe to them featured.
Much.
Featured just means maybe we're only gonna get teasers of 2019 games. Maybe that's what.
Yeah, I think that will be the thing. I think there will be 2019 games that will not get demos at Treehouse.
I think you just need to read it as it is. They're just trying to keep expectations in check. Really.
But why would you say at a later date? Like at a later?
God.
Because it's saying that
you are in the
yes.
fucking Nintendo zone for too long. It's too much. It's overloading your mind.
So we here at the Jump Up Supercast are here to say, don't freak out. There will be video games at E3.
Yeah.
I don't endorse this.
There will be surprises. It will be great. Okay.
Yeah.
Just relax.
I do not endorse.
Everyone
this
relax.
message.
This though, the fact that if anyone was saying Smash is a port, they would not make Smash the headlining game if it was a port.
Yeah. That at least we can get that out of the way. Like, if you still think that, you're stupid, because they're not going to make the centerpiece of their E3 a port. Come on, guys. This is a new game.
But I hear Twitch only has ports, Muzamil.
I mean, it's true.
But so there's that. There is the news for this week. There was a lot of it. So good job. We made it through. Oh, really quick. Steam Spy is not dead. The Steam Spy thought it was dead. They figured out a little secret, and now they're back, baby. So that means we can track Steam sales again. Still wish we could just do it officially. Get over yourselves, Valve. But it's fine. But we now get to transition to a little fun part of the podcast. Last week, Brandon was able to guess all 3 of the top 3 Switch eShop games in sales. Just clean swept it. So now, this week, he gets to be the host of the game.
Oh my god. I swept it, and it didn't even have to do with Pokemon. I can't believe it. All right, so for this week, I was actually thinking about how the other week we talked about Shenmue, and how we were like, man, is he going to be able to drink Coke in that game?
Yeah.
That got me thinking. Product placement in video games.
Yes.
Oh shit.
It's been around for a long time, like a lot longer than you'd think. It's been around since, almost since video games were a thing. Like, there's a lot more product placement in video games than you might realize.
Yeah.
And this week, I made questions about product placement in video games.
I love this one, Brandon.
This is a very good idea.
Oh.
Just quick side note. There was a patent like a few years back for the PS3 that was just the most hilarious thing ever, where it was like it would pause your game, right? And so for you to continue, like it would play you an ad and you'd have to yell to the screen, "McDonald's!" and then it would let you play. And
This is the nightmare scenario.
I want to live in that future.
Not,
That's the future I want to live in. All right, so
that's the future I will kill myself. So, we got some questions here all about, they're going to be different. You're either going to be answering it with a game or a product.
Okay.
All right. And I'm just going to go through. There's not going to be multiple choice.
Okay.
I'm just going to, ask you guys, what your answer is.
Okay.
So you're each going to, don't shout it out. You're going to take turns. I'm going to call your name. You're going to fucking answer, please.
Okay.
That was a direct shot at me.
McDonald's.
Don't have me. Don't even have me. All right. So, first question.
Mm-hmm.
Pepsi machines, because we talked about Coke earlier,
Mm-hmm.
were featured in what 2009 Capcom NES remake?
Oh, what the shit?
We'll start with Muzzy, since he said he wanted to talk first.
I don't even know what came out in 2009. It was a remake? Or
It's a 2009 Capcom NES remake.
but remake.
It features Pepsi machines.
Remake though.
It's a remake or a reboot. I guess you can call it a reboot, not an exact remake.
I genuinely have no fucking clue.
Just hit me with something.
This game hasn't come out since before 2009, but I'm gonna go with Dino Crisis.
Dino Crisis. All right. Let's go with Will. Will, what do you think?
Oh God. NES game from Capcom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You said an NES
Capcom.
game.
Dino Crisis was not a reboot of it. Anything.
I know. But it was the only Capcom game I could think of.
All right.
What are NES games that Capcom made besides?
That had Pepsi in it, though. You gotta think about the Pepsi.
Oh shit! Was this? Oh no! Wait, was it Square? or was it
Shut up,
something
Saf. Let Will guess.
It's not your fucking turn.
else?
I don't know.
Just guess
Castlevania.
Yeah, that's Konami, so I'm gonna tell you you're wrong right now.
Yes.
All right, Saf.
I don't know who published it. I want to say Capcom. Is it Bionic Commando? I think that was it.
Saf, you were right. It is Bionic Commando.
You know what the most baffling thing is? Like, when you said Capcom, that was the first game that came into my head, but it was like, that's stupid. And so I gave a stupider answer.
How is Bionic Commando the first thing that comes
I
to your
don't
head
know.
when I say Capcom?
I don't know. It's
Like
when you
that's
said
the only fucking NES remake that I can think of that was 2009. But I was thinking
That
it's like,
game has Pepsi machines in it.
And his wife is his arm.
yeah.
Yes.
all right. Well,
That drinks Pepsi.
I didn't know they remade Bionic Commando. And
Oh, they did.
You don't know that?
Oh,
His wife is his arm. That's the twist.
All
Oh,
right.
well, spoilers.
Spoiler.
I don't care.
I was just about to play that game.
Keep it. Oh damn! What an asshole. So keep it on the thing we have going here with vending machines.
Oh no.
Enter the Matrix has vending machines featuring what popular sports drink?
Oh.
Saf.
I haven't played Enter the Matrix. I don't fucking know. Is this American sports drinks? Oh, of course it's going to be American sports drinks.
Yeah, I don't know if it goes beyond America. It might.
I would assume.
No, you never had Lucozade, did you? Did you have Lucozade? No, you don't.
Is that your
No.
answer?
Shit.
Time is money. I'm gonna start putting a time limit on these.
Monster energy drink.
Monster. Okay. Well, my wording was sports drink. So. All right, now we're snaking back around. So Will.
Oh, okay. It's not my turn yet.
Powerade.
Powerade. All right. Muzzy.
I don't know if I should go Powerade or Gatorade. I'll go with Powerade too. Powerade.
All right, Powerade. Powerade is correct. They actually made a flavor for the Matrix to tie in with the fact that they
Oh
had
my god,
Powerade
what are they
in the
doing?
game. I know, right? They were wildin' back then, man. There was Powerade machines featuring that flavor all over the game.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was a green flavor. I remember it. I remember drinking it, being like, "Yeah, I'm drinking the Matrix."
Drinking the Matrix.
Oh baby, I'm drinking the Matrix. Wow.
Beautiful.
All right, so Dead Rising 2 featured many advertisements all over the place in that game. From what popular magazine?
I know this one.
Hella fun.
I should be excited about knowing that one.
All right, so we'll start with Muzzy.
I don't know magazines. What do you think I This is 2018? I don't know.
Dead Rising 2 wasn't that long ago, man.
I'm gonna get.
What's his name? Chuck Green reads the Washington Post. He knows that the democracy dies in darkness. He's a well-educated man.
What's I can't even think
What's
of.
a magazine?
What's a magazine?
What's a magazine?
Oh my god, time's ticking.
I'm gonna go with Time because you said Times.
All right, well.
Have Saf go next. So
Yeah, Saf. What magazine was featured in
Playboy?
Dead Rising 2? There's advertisements all
Was
over.
it Playboy?
Although it was not in Dead Rising 2 off the record. For the record.
Okay. Wasn't
Saf gets Playboy.
wasn't Playboy in Dead Rising 2?
Playboy. Okay, is that your
That's
guess?
my guess. I'm gonna go for Playboy.
right.
I think.
All right. Well, Will, what is your guess?
it was Playboy.
It was Playboy. There was Playboy advertisements all over the place.
I felt so cheeky when I was a kid, when I was like 15 and I played that game.
Rest in peace, Hugh Hefner, everybody's hero.
Yeah.
Everybody's
All right,
hero.
so everybody's hero. We all remember Sneak King, right? In the Burger King games.
Motherfucker.
Of course.
And those games were something else that you could get on the Xbox 360. There was a bumper car one and a racing one. And
Sneak King.
Sneak King, that was the greatest. But what EA Sports series did the King himself make a cameo in?
Oh my.
I'm gonna start with Saf.
I don't fucking know. Shit. Madden?
Madden. Okay.
You can play as the whole team of the King. I love that idea.
There's a bunch of mascots in Madden, so that's a fair choice. Muzzy?
I feel like it was a fighting game, but I don't remember what these games are called. It was like fuck. Hold on.
It was like fuck.
It was
Like,
Was it? I don't know what these games are called. I'm gonna go with. Can I just say a UFC game? I don't know.
A UFC game, okay.
EA UFC or whatever.
All right. I mean, that's. I mean, they're literally just called like UFC 1.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with UFC.
Like that. So. All right. Well, Will.
Can I just tell you the franchise, or do I have to give you the?
I
specific?
said franchise.
Okay.
I said what EA Sports series?
I think it's Fight Night.
Will, you are right. To be specific, it was Fight Night 3.
Okay.
But yes, it was Fight Night. The King was in that game.
I remember seeing it in magazine ads, in like Game Informer ads that you could play as the King.
I knew it was a fighting something. And UFC was...
Interesting twist to that.
All right, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game for the NES, which is way back. Crazy Taxi, and EverQuest 2 all have something in common, believe it or not.
Oh?
They all featured advertisement from what food chain?
Oh my.
Will.
Oh. So what were the three of them?
TMNT 2, the arcade game on the NES.
Yeah.
Crazy Taxi.
Yeah.
And EverQuest 2.
Pizza Hut.
Pizza the Hut.
Pizza the Hut.
All right. Muzzy?
I also want to go with Pizza Hut because Pizza Hut does turtle stuff like every now and then. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And Seth?
That was actually going to be my same answer, so I'm just going to go for Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut is correct.
Yeah.
Man, Pizza Hut hustling in these video game space, man.
What else was there? Was also KFC in Crazy Taxi, right?
KFC was also in Crazy Taxi too. Yes, and actually KFC and Pizza Hut were also featured in I think a Phantasy Star game.
Well, I think at the time they were both owned by the same company.
They are. I think they are still.
Are
They are
still?
still
Yeah,
owned by,
okay.
yeah.
It's like
And
Yum Brands
Pepsi
or
owns
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pizza Hut is all about video games. If you remember back in the 90s, I think it was, or there was you could get PlayStation 1 demo discs if you bought a stuffed crust pizza at Pizza Hut, and I
Yes.
still have some of those. Yeah. They were great. They would there was like 6 different ones or something. They would just like put it tape it on the box or inside the box so you get it when you get your pizza.
Interesting.
So that I still have one, and that's how I played Toomba back in the day for the demo. So last question here. 2002's Darkened Sky on the Nintendo GameCube was a fantasy action adventure game disguised as an advertisement for what candy? I'm gonna start with Saf.
This fucking game.
I remember this. I remember it now. Oh my god.
Is it Skittles? I think.
Skittles, okay.
I think it's good.
Taste the rainbow.
Thing.
Muzzy.
I'm gonna go with Butterfingers.
Butterfingers. Okay, that's a good candy, man.
It is a good candy, isn't
Will.
it?
Someone talked about this like last month. This game was like packaged with something else, wasn't it? Am I crazy?
It was also packaged with
Don't give him a hint.
Outlaw Golf.
Yeah. Sorry.
Outlaw Golf.
It's Skittles. It's Skittles.
Yes, it is.
Wait,
The
you're
answer
telling me
is Skittles.
Saf randomly guessed Skittles?
I didn't randomly guess. It was like you used some fucking magic shit. I was going to go for Skittles or M&M or some shit. I know it's like you use magic using fucking Skittles,
Yeah, you would
so-
use the Skittles to do magic spells.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's
So, yeah,
amazing.
they made an action adventure fantasy game that was literally just a Skittles advertisement.
That's amazing. Like this goes.
And it
beyond-
doesn't have any Skittles advertising on it.
No,
It's
no,
only when you
look
get
at
in the
cover of that
game and they say use these Skittles that you realize you're playing an ad.
I did not know that game was a Skittles advertisement for fucking years.
Amazing. That's just incredible.
It's really good, dude.
Was it Skittles TM? I wonder in the game, or is it?
Oh,
I
don't
I'm
remember.
not sure.
I don't remember that.
But
It
yeah,
got
I
a
hope you
game.
guys-
It was only on Windows and GameCube.
And
It was a
GameCube.
GameCube exclusive,
Yes.
baby.
What a weird thing.
So the final score is Will with 5, Saf with 4,
Damn it.
and Muzzy with 2.
Damn it.
See,
So Will, congratulations.
I wasn't gonna win
You
anyway.
are the corporate seller.
I am
You are the shit.
I'm the brand manager.
See,
Yes.
earlier I wanted to guess Playboy, but I was like, these people will think I'm a pervert if I guess Play. If that's the first.
Yeah,
magazine
I realized that I
think
played
of.
my hand a little bit too much when I got excited that I knew that one.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't want to be that guy who's like Playboy. It must. That's the only magazine I
That's kind
know.
of a big deal with Playboy being in fucking Dead Rising. I remember it.
But it's a thing. We didn't. Gosh, wouldn't they like back then do like game previews at the Playboy Mansion, so it's just a bunch of nerdy games press being like surrounded by like it was. I think they did it with like Madden, and it was very funny to go back and look at those like videos because it's just a bunch of nerdy game reporters like trying to learn how to play Madden while a bunch of girls are like rubbing their shoulders and stuff.
Bunch of beautiful women.
Yeah,
and also Nintendo teamed up with Playboy recently for
Bayonetta 2.
Yeah,
what a time.
And Sonic teamed up
with Hooters
recently too.
Hooters was also in whatchamacallit, in Homefront, I remember.
Yeah, there's a lot that I didn't touch on, like Barack Obama advertisements in EA games when he was running. There's a lot of funny things with product placement in video games. There was also Axe. I remember there was Axe ads in one of the Splinter Cell games.
Oh shit!
So I mean, there's good. It's funny. It's very shameless, but it's. I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Who cares? Yeah, who cares?
You're blowing my mind with the game being based on Skittles magic, though.
The Skittles one,
it's really quite a thing. But now we get to move to the Jump Up Supercast.
And Will, by the way, congratulations. Hold on, you get the final word this week.
The final phrase.
I do.
The game.
The final phrase.
Yes, you get that. Congratulations.
Good job.
Thank you. But let's now move on to the widely beloved Jump Up Supercast game list. The list.
Which
guess who was picked for the list this week?
Below.
How
All along.
Wow.
Guess who gets to pick this week?
Who?
It's you.
Me?
Saf. Saf. Hopefully you knew before this, so you had a game ready.
Luckily, yes.
So, Saf, what you got this week?
Don't ruin the magic. Just assume that we get picked right up on the spot.
Yeah, it's true. Just the first game that I think of.
I've got a game that's near and dear to my heart. And I'm hoping two other people have actually fucking played this game as well. Cave Story.
Yeah! Oh, yeah!
That's a good game.
That's a great game. I love that game. I played that and completed it like 2-3 times. It was really
Now, what version of Cave Story?
Cave Story Plus.
Okay. All right. Which has been released on a bunch of different platforms.
Yep.
But was it first on Wii?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it
was a
was.
WiiWare exclusive for a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it was on PC first.
Yeah, it was PC.
Well, no, but that was
Cave Story Plus was
Cave
it?
Story.
Plus.
Yeah, the
Okay,
remake.
okay.
I guess you would call it, right? It's a remake. That would be
Kinda, yeah.
That version was only on Wii for a good chunk of time, and now it's on fucking
and
everything.
then it moved. It moved to the 3DS. Then it moved to everywhere else, and now it's on the Switch.
It was also on
Switch
DSi.
now.
It was one of the few DSiWare games.
And DSiWare, what a time.
What a time to be alive. So, Saf, talk to us about what Cave Story is.
Cave Story is a simple platformer done by one guy named Pixel, and you're basically a robot in a post robot war or some shit like that. But you end up just exploring this weird place with rabbits and shit. And throughout the game, you just find out the history of like what happened, what the true nature of those fucking rabbits are, and the characters are in the game. And there's these interesting mechanics in this game where you can choose to upgrade certain weapons, and you can choose to depending upon what upgrades you make certain decisions as a result of it, and the ending will change in accordance to that sort of thing. And whatever future weapons you get will be affected. The music was fantastic. I love the music in this game. The art style was simple, but it was appealing, I should say. And that's as much as I can say about this game so far.
Cave Story is interesting because it was like, because now if you look at it, you would think, well, this is like an indie game, right? But the thing is, the Cave Story happened way earlier than a lot of other indie games did. Like, what we now think of as the template for these type of games, where it's like 16-bit, it's a side-scrolling platformer with Metroidvania elements. Cave Story was doing that among the first of any of them, right?
I mean, it was a time before indie games were a feasible thing you could do, you know? And you see it in that it was originally released for free, you know? Because it was like, what? Making money, making a game by myself? That doesn't make any sense, you know?
Yes. But it's also like, even though it's early, like it holds up really well. Like
incredibly
both
well.
the story and the gameplay and like and the just the leveling up of the weapons, right? Where like as enemies get killed, they drop. I always just call them Doritos. They're these little triangles. You pick them up, they get stronger. If you get hit, you lose meter, and so you get weapon downgraded, right?
Yeah.
And so just like that core thing, like even when you're at full HP, you still have motivation to not get hit because you don't want to lose the best version of your weapon.
Yeah.
And like you said, like the story is surprisingly good. Like you're like, oh, like when you enter these environments, like there is a good core of mystery, and it actually utilizes the medium of video games in a way that like I like, especially like you said for the ending, like where it gives you the one ending, and then if you are willing to go back and do the extra things, you get the true perspective of what's happening and what's going on, and it completely changes the way that you view the rest of that game, and that's something you can only do in a video game. So I like it for that.
Mm-hmm. So my trouble is placing it on the list.
Okay.
And I want to put it. I want to put it maybe above Donkey Kong Country 2.
Whoa, shit.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because I
How does
love
everyone
this
else
game.
feel?
I love this game a lot.
I don't feel that.
What do you feel, Brando?
I love Cave Story too. Cave Story was like probably like the first like indie game I remember playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I instantly was like, this is fucking great. I love the music. I love the gameplay. Yeah, I love the Metroidvania style. I just love these kind of games. I love the characters.
Curly Brace is adorable. She's great.
But that being said, I think one of the peak indie games is already on the list right now, and that's Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. And I think that's the bar, and I don't know if Cave Story is better than Shovel Knight.
I think I agree.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I've played Cave Story, I've never beat it, so I can't like be like, I don't have a strong opinion on this one. But like Brandon said, Shovel Knight, not to like cast aside indie games as like, you know, whatever, but like Shovel Knight does seem like the premier indie game, you know? So,
Well, it's also a similar type of game, you know?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, and two, yeah,
and its aesthetic and its gameplay.
It's a platformer, you know. It has that retro style going for it. Both have beautiful pixel art, you know. But like,
Yes.
Shovel Knight is just a fucking fantastic game, right? I think it holds up to the games it's inspired by, you know. That which is why, like, I think Shovel Knight is like the bar, and I'm sure there's games that can pass it, but like, I can't tell you if Cave Story does that. I don't know. Clearly, Saf thinks it does, but
I think there are indie games that can pass Shovel Knight.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think Cave Story is as good as it is. I think, honestly, I would be okay with putting it right underneath it.
okay.
So what makes you believe that Shovel Knight is better than Cave Story? Like, what specific parts?
I think that Cave Story, sometimes the level design does get a little too chaotic, in my opinion, especially in the later parts of the game.
Yeah,
It
the
can
last
get overly
level.
hard for not a particularly good reason. Where I think that Shovel Knight has much more of a good arc to the levels and to the evolution of it, and I think that just the core, in addition, like in Cave Story, there are additional moves you get over time. But I think that Shovel Knight does a really good job of compounding different things that you do together, like the act of bouncing on the shovel into all of the different items you pick up for beating the different levels, or all the different bosses, makes the level design, in my opinion, more engaging on the whole than Cave Story. And so I think those are the things that make me prefer Shovel. And I think that also Shovel Knight like does tell a good story as well. It just does it.
And a note about Shovel Knight, if you haven't played Spectre of Torment, I think that expansion in particular really elevated, like, I already loved this game. I adore it even more, you know, because that is such an amazingly crafted experience. Like, the way they designed the levels around Spectre Knight's moveset is just incredible, you know, like, I definitely check it out if you haven't, you know. Yeah, so I don't know. Shovel Knight's a very... I don't mind putting it right below, you know. I don't know.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same. I mean, with Valkyria Chronicles, I would say it has less flaws than maybe Valkyria Chronicles does.
Sure.
Mhm. Okay.
I think.
We're all in
Yeah.
Maybe
So we're all in
story
agreement
was-
then.
We
Number
did it.
11. Number 11 on the list is
Number 11.
Yeah.
K
yeah.
Story. What?
Yeah.
K Story Plus. I guess we should make sure we
K
get
Story
that.
Plus.
You gotta make sure that's clear.
But that is surrounding it, of course. Number 9, Dragon Ball Fighters. Number 10, Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. Number 11, Cave Story. Number 12, Valkyria Chronicles Remastered, just added on the Game Club last week. Check out that episode if you missed it. And number 13, Animal Crossing coming into your town. Let me tell you, everyone. We are the Jump Up Supercast. This is the show primarily for this week. But this is not the only thing we do under the banner of the Jump Up Supercast. You know what? Saf, why don't you tell them where they can find us on the internet?
Where they could find us on the internet, well, you could start off by checking us out on iTunes, the best place to go to if you want to listen to us on the go. You can also check us out on SoundCloud. We're chilling out there if you need to us. We'll be right there. We also have a YouTube channel called Jump Up Supercast. Believe it or not, that's our name. You can check, subscribe, watch the videos, and just listen, or even listen to it in the background if needs be.
Also, I just want to point out a bonus thing with some of the Game Club episodes. You get some gameplay footage during that, so that's a little bonus thing you get on YouTube. You don't get anywhere else.
Nowhere else. Exclusive to YouTube. But if you don't think that's enough, we also have a Twitch channel where you can check us out, where we have Brandon and Noah playing golf on Mondays. We got Will he was playing Pokemon on Tuesdays. And we also have Brandon having his solo stream, doing whatever the fuck he wants on that. And also, yours truly, Rated R, of course. Also, yours truly, as well as Noah, doing a Terraria stream on Thursdays. And anything else?
All right. There we go.
There we go.
Well done, Safi. Sorry, Moose.
Also, Facebook and Twitter.
Also, Facebook and Twitter, of course, to check out when we are going live.
You
on
let
that
Saf
Twitch channel.
piss me off in the beginning, and then you let him do it at the end. And I'm
You got a treat this week, Musical. You got to talk all about the changes at Nintendo.
That's true. Yeah, I can't complain.
I know
Yeah,
that.
and time for my last word, and
The final phrase.
the final phrase. I'm sorry, the final phrase. And I was thinking, and you know, we play a lot of video games. We appreciate a lot of video games, but sometimes I think that we don't think about the people that made them, right? The people that worked hard on them, the people that spent unhealthy amounts of hours making the things that we can sometimes just crap on in 140 characters or less. So this week, I want everyone to think of a game they played in the last 12 months, right? Be it America, be it a Japanese game. Look up the director of that game and learn what they did. Learn what else they've touched on. Learn what else they have a passion for in the games that they've worked on, and maybe see if those other things are stuff you'll care about, right? Because these people put a lot of time and work in. And heck, look if they have a Twitter profile. And if they do, just send them a little message saying, hey man, hey lady, I had an incredible time with the thing that you spent years of your life working on, so thank you. And, you know, just in general, be excellent to each other.